as a nurse, because ladies were allowed in those days to join those armies as a nurse. And when a stage will be reached when some of you ladies will be taken as prisoners by the Muslims. When you are taken as prisoners, you join the group of prisoners, get to the river, and my father will have you rescued from there, and you will then be able to join. And so exactly what I was told is what has happened. The result is, I'm here today, and hence I know this letter, and hence I know the author of this letter, and hence I knew in advance all that had to happen, and I was able to set it out to Umar bin Yazid. And I knew you would have enough funds on you. Even if you did not know how much you had, I knew that the funds would be enough for you to be able to take me away to my master. So they moved from there to Samara. And when they reach Samara, the Imam Al-Hadi alayhi salam calls Hakima Khatun. This is the level of Bibi Hakima Khatun. Indeed, she is also buried in Samara together with these two Imams alayhim as-salam, and says, this is an illustrious lady Allah glorified and exalted has sent over for Ahlul Bayt alayhim as-salam. Through her, the last Hujjah will be born, who will spread justice and equity on earth when it will have been filled with dhulm, with inequities and injustices. So Hakima Khatun is told, you look after her, and soon I will arrange the marriage. And it is Al-Hadi alayhi salam who arranges the marriage of Imam Askari alayhi salam in the worldly way. The spiritual marriage had of course already taken place as we have set out. But the worldly marriage and the khutbah and the nikah and the sigha were all recited by Imam Hadi alayhi salam. That marriage was then performed. Well, we have had opportunity last year to discuss, and so I will cut this short because of lack of time, of how the moment it was known that the Imam alayhi salam, Al-Askari alayhi salam, has married and a child might be born, Imam Askari alayhi salam was taken as prisoner. But that event of the reign that we've already discussed is what enabled the Imam alayhi salam to be released. And soon that day came when the birth of the 12th Imam alayhi salam was conceived. Al-Askari alayhi salam now calls over Bibi Hakima Khatun and says, oh my aunt, I have a special message for you. Tonight will be born the one who will be the Hujjah that my father talked to you about. The Hujjah who will bring peace on earth when there will be turmoil on it from corner to corner. So come to my place tonight. And that message was sent with a special messenger. When she receives the message, of course, that very evening before Maghrib, she reaches the house of Askari alayhi salam and says, I've received wonderful news from you. Who is this lucky lady who is going to give birth? And the Imam alayhi salam says, that is Narjis Khatun. She was popularly known and is popular till today known as Narjis Khatun. She also has other names like Malika, Rayhana, Sosan. All these are really names of the same person. They are severally mentioned as though belonging to different people because the authorities were looking for the right lady. So they were looking for Sosan, they were looking for Malika, not knowing that they're looking for the same lady, and could not trace the lady who gave birth to this child, and the child could not be traced either. But Halima Khatun, once she knows this, she turns to the Imam alayhi salam and says, but I have just met Narjis Khatun. There is no sign of pregnancy of her at all. There is absolutely no sign that she is to be pregnant. And again, this episode is set out both by As-Sadduq alayhi rahmah and At-Tusi alayhi rahmah. The episode of Bashir bin Sulaiman that I just set out, you will find in Ghaiba of Shaykh Sadduq alayhi rahmah from pages 417 to page 425. The hadith that I will about to set out of the exact birth, you will find at page 450 of the Ghaiba of Shaykh Sadduq alayhi rahmah. With regard to Sheikh Tusi alayhi rahmah, in his ghaibah, the first episode is contained at page 125, and the episode of the birth is contained at page 115. This is in case you have access to these books, you can satisfy yourselves on the authenticity of these two particular events that I've put forward to you. So, Bibi Halima Khatun says to him, Al-Askari alayhi salam, there is no sign of pregnancy at all. and I accept your word because you are Hujjah of Allah, but this is startling to me. This is baffling to me. The Imam alayhi salam smiles and says, yes, aunt, why should there be a sign now? When the time comes, the signs will appear and the child will be born. So she gets satisfied. But again, something for us to ponder about. This child who was to remain in ghaibah, this child who was to be protected from the oppressors of the time, this child who was to ultimately take justice on these oppressors who were oppressing the world from knowing reality, from knowing the truth, from following the people truly appointed by Allah, glorified and exalted, to be His true hujjaj, to be His true proofs, to lead people onto the right path and ultimately to salvation. He was the one to bring them to justice and bring them to book. And we shall discuss more about this inshallah on the eve of Ashura. Well, they were after him, they were looking for him, and he was to be protected. How then can there be signs of pregnancy? This completely miraculous birth. And hence I started today that his life, the scheme of Allah glorified and exalted in bringing him, he was totally different from the scheme he had for the 11 Imams alayhimus salam. And hence the very birth was different. And I wanted to start with this so that henceforth we know we will not discuss his life as we discussed the 11 Imams alayhimus salam. It is a unique style that Allah glorified and exalted has created particularly for this Imam. It is a unique manner in which he conducts his imamah. It is those who have had the good fortune, I repeat, the good fortune of knowing this unique style are able to comprehend him and have access to him even today. And he may well be with us even in this gathering this evening. We cannot see him, he sees us and sees those who are his true friends. And may Allah include us amongst his true friends and true companions. Maybe Halima says, it was time for Maghrib. I said my prayers and then I broke my fast. As you know, it was the 14th of Shaban. No wonder that she was fasting. She says, I broke my fast. When I had broken my fast, I then had a little rest. Midnight, I woke up for prayers. I went to Narjis Khatun. She was fast asleep. No sign of pregnancy at all. Even till midnight, she reports. And then she says, I said my prayers. And then I said namaz al-shab also. And then I went to sleep again. When I went to sleep again, I heard she waking up. So I woke up also and I said extra prayers. I looked at her and I saw that she was reciting namaz al-shab. She recited namaz al-shab. And having recited namaz al-shab, there was time, she felt, I could see that she was feeling a little tired. She went back to her bed. I then said, this is the first sign. The lady is feeling exhausted after namaz al-shab, which she normally didn't. And then she says, in few moments, I hear a scream from her. So I jump straight to her bed and I say, what is happening? She says, I am having strange feelings. This is the first birth that she was giving. I'm having a strange feeling. And before anything else happened, Bibi Halima says, we were blinded. Another sign that I want to put across to you. We were totally blinded. When we were blinded, we saw a light, a beam of light from where this child suddenly was. We didn't even know it was a child. And from there, right into the roof, penetrating into the roof and onto the sky. And when things had slightly settled, when the dust had settled, I went and picked up what I could pick up. And what do I pick up? I pick up the hujjah of the time. Duly circumcised, purely born. And before I pick him up, I hear him speak. So I kept my ear to hear what he was saying before I picked him up. And I heard him say, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna jaddi Muhammadan Rasulullah. And then he took the name of each Imam, making a shahada that each was a hujjah of Allah before him. When he reached the 11th, then I picked him up. When I picked him up and I saw it was a child born in that way, immediately I hear Al-Askari alayhi salam calling me, says, Aunt, bring my son to me. So I take him to his father, and the Imam alayhi salam holds him and then does the normal things and says to the child, speak. And when he tells him to speak, the first thing again that he spoke was exactly that shahada, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan wa ashhadu anna jaddi Muhammadan Rasulullah, and the names of all the 11. And when it comes to the 11th Imam alayhi salam, he salutes him. And when that was done, the Imam alayhi salam says to Halima Khatun, he has saluted me, take him to salute his mother. So he is taken to salute the mother. He greets his mother and speaks to her, a just recently born child. And from then onwards, he is kept in surveillance. The Imam alayhi salam says to Halima Khatun, you can now go, the child is born, but visit me after 7 days, because you will only see him after 7 days. But Halima Khatun says, I was not going to wait for 7 days. The next day I went, and I said to the Imam alayhi salam, I've come to meet my master again, because I just want to have his ziyarah. And he says, you cannot. It is not the will of Allah that he is to be seen at this particular critical juncture. We have kept him in the custody of Allah, in the protection of Allah, but on the 7th day he will be here, and you can see him then. My time is almost getting over. I only have a few minutes left. 3 criticisms that are normally placed against these episodes. Can I deal with them, or perhaps it is better that I deal with them more fully tomorrow night before we start on the other matters. One criticism that I think I've duly dealt with is, this is hagiographical. It is hagiographical because it was not meant to be an ordinary birth. It was not meant to be a birth that anybody could witness, because the child would have been arrested, the father would have been arrested, the mother would have been arrested. This ghaibah that we experience today had to start right from the birth of the child. That is proof that what we are going through today, this period of ghaibah in which we are physically separated from him, had its own system that started right from the birth of the child. How he is born in circumstances in which nobody even sees signs in the body of the mother. The mother herself does not experience signs, lest that reality, that truth about the hujjah of Allah is revealed to the public before the appropriate time, before the time of zuhur. 2 more criticisms that inshallah I will deal with, but the greatness, the relevance, the pertinence of the Imam alayhi salam tonight, when we either the moon has sighted or it has not sighted. If it has not sighted, it will sight tomorrow. When we are approaching this period of the martyrdom of Imam Hussain alayhi salam, we look to him. We look to him because he is the one who will ultimately bring justice. Because that martyrdom of Imam Hussain alayhi salam was perhaps the peak of oppression and injustice that was to happen to anybody. But it started right when bay'ah was sought from Imam Hussain alayhi salam. And that seeking of bay'ah is not what troubled Imam Hussain alayhi salam that night. That night when he left the palace of Walid, Imam Hussain alayhi salam was not troubled by the question of bay'ah. That he was going to say no to anyway. He was going to reject. He was going to say he was not going to make bay'ah. That was easy. What was difficult, what was painful for the Imam alayhi salam was the decision that he had to leave Medina. Just one passing, fleeting question to you. Medina, was it then not flooded with companions of the Holy Prophet? Had those companions who were living there not known that the Holy Prophet had said, Al-Husayn, Sayyidu Shababi al-Jannah? And yet, Imam Hussain alayhi salam announces his departure from Medina, and there isn't a group of people to turn around and say, Ya Hussain, you will not leave Medina, we will surround you, we will protect you. All that is not given to him. That does not pain Imam Hussain alayhi salam as it pains us today. What pained him was the separation from the grave of the Holy Prophet. That Holy Prophet, as you know, who treated him so lovingly. That Holy Prophet who grabbed him every time he saw him, kissing his lips, kissing his cheeks, indeed all the time treating Imam Hussain alayhi salam with the greatest of affection. When the Holy Prophet, peace be upon him, and his progeny was in the last hours, he called for Hussain, he called for Hassan, and he hugged them to his chest. Those were the last people he met before he left. That Hussain attended to the grave of the Holy Prophet on a daily basis, dawn and dusk. Now he is told he must leave. He goes to the grave of the Holy Prophet and says, oh my grandfather, whatever happens, happens, but I cannot leave your grave, and yet I cannot stay in Medina. It is sad, historians say, that Imam Hussain alayhi salam 5 times said Khuda Hafiz to the grave of the Holy Prophet, and 5 times went back to it again to say Khuda Hafiz, because he could not part from the grave. But how did he part from the grave of his beloved mother Fatima Zahra alayha salam? Because from there, from the Masjid al-Nabawi, he then goes to Baqi to meet to the grave of his mother, to say Khuda Hafiz to the mother. Says exactly that oh mother, this is a grave I visited every day. This is a time now that I have to get away from you. I am not able to part from this grave. He hears a voice from the grave saying, no, Hussein, don't worry about that. Let not that concern you. You are not parting from me, because if you are leaving Medina, Fatima alayhi salam is joining you also. I will join you. You will see me everywhere, wherever you are. That night of Shab Ashur, when the Imam alayhi salam is in prayers, suddenly Bibi Zainab alayhi salam goes to him and says, oh my brother, do you hear this voice? Do you hear this lady crying? She's behind the tent. Imam Hussain alayhi salam says, Zainab, you are telling me a lady is crying behind the tent? Haven't you made out? This is my mother Fatima Zahra. She told me she would leave the grave. She indeed has. It is her crying. It is her voice. It is her lamentation. ألا لعنة الله على القوم الظالمين وسيعلم الذين ظلموا أي منقلب ينقلبون إنا لله وإنا إليه راجعون رحم الله من يكرم